is Julie Pankey, in case you didn't know, and our esteemed panelists of experts that were at the SpaHive event in Norwich. It was such an amazing topic, and we've gotten such great feedback that we wanted to kind of continue the conversation a little bit. So I think most people that are on the call and that will be listening know our panelists, but let me do a quick intro, and if you gals just want to introduce yourselves quickly, I'm going to go across my screen of those that I can actually see. We have Emily. Hi, Emily. Genesee. Hey, Genesee.
Hello.
Jen from Maine, coming to you live from her spa in Portland, Maine. And Jen Beauclair is on the call, right, Jen?
Yes, I
am. She's just not on video. Shame, shame, shame.
I will, but I'm actually driving, so as soon as I get stationary, I
will. And Leah, are you on the call? So I don't see that Leah's joined our call. So we have some topics that I felt like we couldn't really dive into at the SpaHive conference. So one thing, and anyone that wants to hop in can, so any of our panelists just jump in. I'm not going to direct any of the questions to anyone specifically unless I feel like, you know, it's right in your wheelhouse. But we didn't have a chance to talk about what is PPC. So for those of us that, you know, hear about PPC, we know that PPC is pay-per-click, right? How can, Emily, how can a spa best use PPC? Should we be using it? Is it cost prohibitive? What's the kind of rule of thumb when you hear about PPC?
Yeah, so pay-per-click is a type of advertising that is used on search engines. So in general, it's called PPC, but a lot of people and most people use it as Google AdWords. But PPC is like the overall general term. You can also advertise on Bing and other search engines. But basically, the general idea is that you're bidding on certain keywords in order to get your business found. So think about the last time you did any type of online search for anything. You more likely than not, you type something in, and you clicked enter and you see things up at the top and it says ad. That is an example of pay-per-click advertising. And it is something that is tough to do yourself unless you're familiar with it, because there are so many different there's so much strategy involved and a lot of keyword strategy. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can accidentally rack up a big bill in advertising. So that's something that I generally would say to outsource, because it's the time that you're going to take to figure it out, and the money that you might spend probably it will be cost prohibitive both in time and money. That being said, it can be a very useful tactic for businesses to get found using keywords. So, you know, if you're looking for, say, like spa in Portland or something like that, you know, that could potentially be something that you want to bid on. And essentially what you're doing is you're bidding on keywords and you're trying to outperform other people who are also bidding on the same keywords. So a good way to potentially do it is if you have like a very niche audience, you know, say your spa does, you know, like a facial type that a lot of other spas don't do, or say you have a med spa and you do, you know, like you have a new Botox or a new filler or something like that, or, you know, maybe you do like like colon irrigation, something like that. Like those are very specific things that would be really easy to get found using pay-per-click advertising. But so, like tying it to a specific campaign, but to use it in general and just have it running in the background and trying to get found, it can be really expensive. So that's
Emily, is pay-per-click a version of the SEO?
So the two work hand in hand. SEO is short for search engine optimization. And basically it's the process by which you are optimizing your website to get found on search engines. So, for example, you're having keywords on your website, listing services pages, and by optimizing your website for search engines, you're making it more likely than not that when someone searches for something that your business provides, you will come up in those rankings organically, meaning without paying. If you have very strong search engine optimization, meaning you are ranking on the first or second pages of Google consistently for certain searches, then yes, Julie, you're right. PPC can play into that. The higher your search engine optimization and the better your rank is on Google, the more likely it is that that your ad, your PPC campaign would show up and that you would outrank other competitors. But it's the kind of thing that it's like, as I said before, I mean, if I ran a spa, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I mean, and it's not even something that I would touch with a 10-foot pole at all. It's something that I would outsource to someone who only does that, because I'm a marketing generalist and that is not in like my specific wheelhouse. So it's something that like even I would say, you know what, my friend's really good at this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jen, I have a question for you. How have you been successful as a spa in Portland with your SEO? Have you had any tricks that have worked for, it's a relatively, competitive market because it's a city.
Yeah.
But you also are unique, from your competitors. So what's worked for you as a spa owner with SEO in general?
Okay. Well, a couple different things. So even this morning, actually, I had a marketing meeting with a marketing company, and they were talking about Google AdWords and SEO, and it is very specific. And I feel like if you want, you can do a lot on your own, but if you get into that realm, really working, like she just said, with somebody that is educated just on Google AdWords and SEO, and you're looking at your analytics too, so you can get data and be watching that all the time. What we did was we made sure that like our text in our website had, facials, Portland, different, I don't think they call them meta tags anymore. What do they call them now? I'm sorry.
Might be just keywords, right, Emily?
Words, yeah. So it helped our organic ranking.
Yeah.
Another thing that really helped us a lot were reviews, and then I always take it back to the basic of knowing your brand and what sets you apart. So I go back. I talk to my employees a lot about our brand. I look at our font, our colors, our mission, our message that we're trying to get out there, and any different avenue, like making sure everybody's on the same page. So if I'm going to work with a company or an influencer or an employee, everybody understands what the Beauty Mark brand is and where I'm going with that.
That makes sense. Genesee, do you have anything to add? Have you worked with, like, in your brand now? How are you driving people's awareness? Do you do any like organic SEO, have you found?
So I work with a production company, and they do tons of like documentary stuff, but also SEO stuff. And so, it's like a pair, right? And he does SEO and she does film stuff. And so they're a great team. And one of the interesting things, I don't, for my personal brand, pay for any kind of SEO work or any kind of pay-per-click stuff. But what I do is, and to apply this to spas, I backlink everything. Like if I'm working with influencers, I make sure they're linking my page and I'm linking to their page. And for spas, it's like on any of the travel sites where you're getting any kind of feedback. When you go in and make your comment, you make sure to put your website link there so that when somebody clicks on it, it's coming from that page. And then, so you have like a million links going each way. So I make sure anytime I work with anybody, I do anything, I have like 4 different platforms. I link absolutely everything to everything. And when I worked with this SEO couple, I put their link on the bottom of my page, and he does all this SEO work, and he goes, holy crap, you just directed like tens of thousands of links to my page, because I've been doing this for however long for my personal brand, upwards of 15-ish years. And I've just, since the beginning, always linked on every single page and everybody I've worked with. So I've got like links pointing everywhere. So I know that raises, and Emily could probably put the better terms to it. But, for somebody who's not doing much, but, you're following all of your travel and customer feedback and all the Facebook things, anytime that's anywhere, you just make sure you're putting your links in it and then making sure it's directing to the right page that has that same kind of content. And like, I think it explodes. Emily, correct me if I'm wrong, but it gets you up higher in searching because it's all validated stuff then that people are clicking, reading titles and the meta tags, I call them too, keywords, right? Yeah.
Yeah, basically to like just touch on a little bit what Genesee is saying is the idea of backlinking is it's basically a way that if other websites are linking to your website, those external links that are directing traffic or even just pointing a link to your website, what it's doing is it's telling Google, hey, look, all of these other websites are linking to this one site, which means that this one site must be really important. And the more backlinks you have, the higher Google considers your page authority. So that's basically what it does. You can think of it similar to, if you ask like 3 different people or 5 different people, if they could recommend, say, like a dentist, and 3 of them say like, oh, this one dentist, you're going to trust those 3 people because like it's a group of people recommending one particular practice. So you can kind of think of it like that in terms of like the internet, but it's obviously amplified. So the more links you have to your website, the better, which is why it's really important if you have the opportunity to get involved with other businesses that are similar, that don't have to be like a spa, but maybe like a salon or wellness stuff or a yoga studio, why it's really important to get press about your spa and getting links from trusted sources like a newspaper or like even like Barry's website, like something like that. So getting those links from other outside sources is really important to help boost your SEO. Link building strategies are awesome. So I'm so glad Genesee mentioned that.
I have a question for you, Emily. The more Google reviews, does that help your ranking at all?
So interesting. You're talking about Google reviews on your Google My Business profile,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Google My Business is putting a lot of weight in the Google My Business profile. And this is a change that's been happening over the past year and a half. And one of those things that Google scores under your Google My Business profile, in addition to demographic information about your business, question and answers, and like, having an accurate location and photos and stuff like that, are reviews. So reviews on Google are going to be really important because it's just going to help Google show it more often. If you look up any business, what you will see, like when it comes to the Google places or the Google My Business listings, is the ones with more reviews are ranked higher on the list than the ones with fewer reviews.
I noticed when we added more pictures too of the spa, that helped us go up a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's great. Keep doing that. And the more you update it, the more Google will be like, oh, wait, okay, they must be cool. So yeah, it's super
really interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Google My Business it's taken over.
So if you, not to harp too long on SEO, but if I'm operating on a shoestring, what's the best tactic to take? I mean, we already identified PPC might not be the way. Google AdWords. I've heard some people say that it's been, really great for them, especially if they're marketing something very specific. But, if I don't have a lot of time, don't have a lot of money, what's this organic SEO and how, other than the tips you just gave us, both Jen and Emily, about your Google My Business page, what are some other little tips and tricks those of us operating on a shoestring can do to help boost SEO?
I think the most important thing is going to be making sure that your website is doing what it's supposed to be doing. And what I mean by that is making sure that you have your service area listed on your website, your address, and especially for spas, it's going to be very important to have your services listed. And if possible, have each of these services on a separate page, because each of those services will, like each page, say you have like facials, and I don't mean like specific types of facials, like the cranberry almonds fall facial, but just like a list of like facials, a whole page for facials and a whole page for massages and a whole page for, maybe like salon services and stuff like that, because the more specific you can get on each individual page on your website, the better it's going to resonate with Google if someone searches, massage in whatever your town is. The other thing that I would say is blogging is going to be really important. And I know, Julie, you talked to a lot of your clients about blogging. I don't know if anyone else has anything else to say about that.
Emily, the blogging, I know anytime we worked with at my resort spa, anytime we worked with big marketing companies, it was constantly like, you should be producing 3 blogs a day. And of course, in those blogs, backlinking and then cross-linking to links on your own website to those facial pages. So I remember them making us break out all of our a menu into different pages so that we could constantly do that and have, again, because it's like a mini backlinking to your own site. So
yeah, it's so important.
And so let's take a slightly different direction with our conversation right now, is setting ourselves apart, how we can do that. So, kind of talking about what's the number one way, in any of our opinions, that we can make the biggest impact marketing wise, and how do we set ourselves apart from our competitors. So I know we touched on that a tiny bit at SpaHive. Maybe we could dive in a little bit deeper. I know for me, like as JM Pinky brand, I harp on how much we value community. So trying to set, myself apart, as a spa consultant and as the SpaHive. So an event that we host, and I believe, like, I try to set myself apart because, that we're stronger together, and, as each of us achieves success, it kind of trickles down through our community. And so, creating an environment that, all of the spas that I work with and all of the spas that come to SpaHive and all of the brands that we work with, we want to help them, make more connections and have a bigger impact in their community. And that I believe that, there's enough business, for everyone if we set ourselves apart slightly. Whatever our mission is all going to be a little bit different, and the reason and our purpose for doing what we do. And, as Marianne always says, stay in our lane, and be who we are, not try to worry about who everyone else is being. So in your opinion, ladies, how do you set yourself apart? How do you suggest a spa or a brand sets themselves apart? And what's, a biggest way we can make an impact with our brands? Totally loaded question.
Way loaded. I was like,
you can just take little bits and pieces.
I'd say Marianne has it right. You got to be authentic. And I think when we do things that are inauthentic, it's when we hit our trouble spot. When you go outside of your lane, that's always when you crash and burn, and you have to come right back into authenticity, I think. But that's not helpful by any means. Somebody else can take it. I need time to process everything that opened up in my head.
I think this is hard if you're in a big corporation. I mean, it depends on how much control you have within the environment. But I know for myself as a business owner, this has been a journey, the last 15 years of me doing this. And I would say at the beginning, I basically was reactive instead of proactive. So I would add on a service because a client mentioned they wanted, or I'd look into a new skincare line. I was kind of like all over the place because I wanted to take care of and please everybody. And until I took some time and really focused on my brand and remodeled my business and thought, okay, where am I? Who do I want to be? Who's the authentic brand? What authentic brand or voice do I have in that? And then where am I going? So that took some time. It took energy. It took some soul searching, but I am really clear about who we are. And everything falls into place, whether it's social media or my font or my colors, because now I've clearly defined who I am. And no one that can take that away from me too, in terms of competition and collaboration is the new competition. I understand that, but there's still competitors out there, and there's, there's noise in the market. So if you know who you are and you can clearly define that, then you can go out and find what piece is yours.
Yeah. Oh, okay. If I can add on. So at my old spa, we basically had a very specific brand message. And then we made a services practice book that we were a big resort property. So it went from, our butlers in the front of the house all the way to housekeeping in the back of the house. And anytime management or ownership would walk down the halls, they'd ask you if you had your services practices handbook. And it was just a little folded, tiny 3-page, and it had 10 of our golden rules, and you had to have them memorized, and they would quiz you at any point in time, and you'd get little rewards. But it's a great way to make sure that as a business owner that you not only know what your authentic brand is, but then that the forward-facing staff are then the exact duplicate of your authenticity to the customer. And so I always thought that was a really beautiful little gem.
Yeah, I came up with core values. So I have like 5 core values, and then that just goes to my employees and, marketing and beyond.
Yeah, I think doing all that is a way to really have that, sense of authenticity. One thing that I was going to mention that kind of echoes a little bit about what Julie was saying in terms of the collaboration. And this is something that I've found works really well. And it's something that at my last role, I was spearheading the marketing of, and that's partnerships. And it's something that sounds like a drag because it does take a little bit of time and effort, but it's a way to really stand out in a particular market. And the reason that I'm mentioning partnerships is because I think it's something that can bring in so many new clients into your spa, and it can be mutually beneficial. And what I mean are not necessarily formal partnerships, but if you have a beautiful space, you know, having someone, you know, doing an event, like a small event, and having someone with a like-minded business come in and use your space, or, you know, donating your services. I don't mean necessarily like donating, but like collaborating your services with something else that's going on. Examples that just come to mind is there's a spa here in Boston, and they happen to share a space with an acupuncturist. And so they did like a whole like spa and acupuncture night. And so the acupuncturist invited in all of her clients who necessarily wouldn't have had spa services, and vice versa. And it's really great. And depending on what you can do and who your clientele is, you can really make a name for yourself by partnering with just small events, you know, a couple a year. But what you end up doing is having, or, you know, maybe not a couple a year, but anyway, but like what you end up doing is you end up getting your name out in ways that you didn't think was possible. And if you can just get a little creative with it, you never know. And then, and by getting your name out, even if someone hasn't used your spa, you know, it could be like, oh, well, I went to this event and, you know, I didn't end up booking any services, but the women from this spa were so incredible and so welcoming, and the space was absolutely gorgeous. Like, you should check it out, you know, that type of thing. So I think that collaborations and partnerships are a really great way to stand out. It does involve a little bit of dirty work, but it can definitely pay off. And then once you get that first one done, you can, with one partner, it's easy to replicate.
Can I tie in 2 points from the beginning and now what Emily just said?
Yeah.
I'm going to be the backlinking specialist here. So partnerships, okay, every spa owner, manager, whatever, has the charity walk in once a week, right? Right, Jen?
Yeah.
Like the charity donation person walks into your front desk like once a week. And we're talking like, I didn't know there were this many charities in my neck of the woods, right? We constantly got hit up for charities. And so after like 12 years of this, right, always having these people come in and ask, well, very quickly into it, we started learning that you can ask for stuff back from the partnerships of working with the charities. And so, I mean, what is it to donate, you know, one service to the charity or whatever it is? And then we would ask them to do a blog post on us, to add all of our keywords and website links and contact information. And we would actually have a contract that we developed when anybody that a charity came in and asked, that they would then start posting about us on social media too. So taking partnerships, because it's a beautiful thing too. And we got, you know, there were some charities, local charities, that brought in tons of business for us. And so, and it's a good thing to do. Yeah. Good thing to get recognized for. Yeah.
Tomorrow night, we have a talk at Beauty Mark, and we're having a nurse practitioner come in, and she's talking about hormones. So to tie back to branding, that fits into a core value of Beauty Mark, because health and education is a core value for us. Plus, it sets up a referral. So if there's something out of my wheelhouse, like with a skin issue, I have somebody that I know, I trust, and I have a relationship with that I can refer to. And then it's just expanding our community as well.
That's incredible. You should, there's a local doula here who, as part of her like maternity concierge services, and they're expensive, gives all of her clients like one massage, like one discounted massage a month, and she only partners with this one spa. So she's just feeding client, I mean, like, and it just blew my mind. She told me about this the other day, and I was so excited to tell you, Julie.
That's so awesome. It's so crazy. Like Genesee will totally be like into this, but you know, it's so crazy how like I've been doing a lot of research about doulas lately. So when you just, and how like I feel like it could tie back to the spa industry, you know, either end of life doulas or birthing doulas. And that you just said that, I just was like, yes, that's so awesome. Jen B, I know you're on here. Do you have anything to add? Because you work at a, you know, one of the corporate kind of companies that we're talking about where sometimes things can, you know, be a little bit more difficult. For you to, you know, have a hand in making a big impact marketing wise. You know, how do you find that you guys can, you know, make a big impact marketing wise, as well as, you know, setting yourselves apart from the competition, which there is much of it? Jen? Okay, I think, did we lose Jen Beauclair?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. I had you double muted apparently. Yes, we have lots of competition right in the very same building, as you know, just feet from each other. And we do have challenges with the marketing because I don't have control over the marketing being in such a large corporation. But what we found to be successful is use the other vendors, use the other events that are happening right within our company. You know, it's such a large organization. There's so many other companies that are housed, businesses that are housed right there for us. So we've done different partnerships, whether you go and dine at High Rollers and then as your check presenter, you get a discount to come to the spa. We've collaborated with them as far as like bachelorette parties, you know, so just being creative and honestly almost going back to guerrilla marketing. We have on Fridays, everybody knows Jeannie's Have Some Fun Today t-shirts and bags and hats, and we've kind of incorporated that into our Friday fun day, and we go and we just really walk the concourse and we meet the people and go to the other businesses, and it actually has been very successful for us. I think that people really like, you know, the handshake and seeing the face and, you know, hearing it verbally versus reading it on a flyer or a poster or what have you. So, you know, we've kind of gone way, way back, old school, I guess, but it's definitely, we've seen some rewards from it. So we'll keep on going.
Yeah, and I think that's a great tip because so often we talk about, I'm going to segue into this, you know, the tools, the technology tools that we have and technology that's available to us. And a lot of marketing does go back to technology. And again, back at SpaHive Norwich, we did touch upon, you know, it's all about the personal connection. You know, what we do and what resonates with people really is about, you know, the personal connection, people understanding, you know, as Jen said earlier about, you know, the mission and vision and clearly identifying, you know, what your mission and vision are. And if people understand that, you know, we're about personal connection at spas. Even, you know, our vendors, you know, I think there's so many studies out there saying, you know, that, you know, people are in need of, you know, the healing touch, you know, that our society, you know, really is craving, you know, the handshake, the pat on the back, you know, in, you know, a non-challenging way. That, you know, Jen, I think that was great, bringing it back to, you know, sort of being old school. And, you know, I'm working with a spa that's opening soon, and we just talked about guerrilla marketing, right? Because, you know, there are some things that you have to do that, you know, is beyond just sending emails and, you know, hoping that someone will open the one of 1,000 emails in their inbox now, you know, because they want to see, you know, what you have to offer. But if you've already established that relationship, when I get an email from Beauty Mark, I want to open it because, you know, I trust you. But if, you know, I didn't know you and you ended up being like one of 1,000, you know, I might not know, right? But we've established that relationship and trust. So I'd love if the spas that are on here, it's something that I think we kind of talked about in Norwich too, but if you haven't created a mission and vision statement for yourself, for your employees, and for your brand, you know, I'd love that to be, you know, a little bit of homework and take away, is to do a little soul searching, you know, as Jen from Beauty Mark mentioned, to really clearly identify what your mission and vision is for your business. And I think that, you know, that'll help you be so much more successful, you know, in your marketing efforts. Do you guys agree?
Oh yeah.
In everything, in not just marketing, and
yeah,
in everything.
Yeah,
your happiness, you know, if you're not hot, you know, you gotta really love what you do. And
yeah,
totally.
make it a fun dream board, right? Like your colors, your fonts. Seriously, what if you're renovating, what you want that to look like all of it. It should be something that's in your area all the time that you can just anchor back into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good tip. So I think one of our last kind of questions, and we want to be mindful of people's time, is I know when we were in Norwich, we all like threw out all these tools that help make marketing a bit easier. Leah's not on the call. She threw out some really good ones that I didn't write down and don't have on the call. But Emily probably knows all of the really great marketing tips and tools. So, you know, maybe everyone's top 2 tools that helps make marketing a bit easier for you. I mean, we all have different kinds of businesses, you know, or, you know, advise different kinds of businesses. I think for me, it's funny because I think a lot of spas don't utilize their booking system, you know, whoa, there's Jen. Are you muted again? Because we can't hear you. So I feel like that's an underutilized tool, is the software that you have at your spa. You know, I was recently at a spa that said, you know, our booking system is very frustrating and I think we want to switch. And, you know, my advice is to, you know, talk to the people at your software, whatever it is you're using, and let them know exactly what you're trying to accomplish and see how they can help you accomplish it. Because, you know, I feel like it's so advanced now. There's so many programs that are advanced that I think, you know, really using these systems that are already in place and using those to your ability. I don't know what everyone else, I mean, for me, one of my best tools is, you know, having people that help me. You know, because I'm not ashamed to say I do not do all my own social media. You know, I have a team of people that, you know, do help me in various different ways to be successful. And, you know, they're not full-time, you know, I don't have an arsenal of, you know, people in the JM Pinkey brand, but I do have, you know, probably 5 to 6 really key people that, you know, on a, you know, part-time, as needed, monthly retainer basis, depending, that can help me navigate these things. And Emily has been one, you know, through, you know, many trials and errors with her previous company. So what do you guys say? I mean, what are some tools?
So for the spa that I worked at, one of the biggest shifts we had was when we incorporated like a Zendesk or one of those live chat with our customers through our website. And you can do it for free. You just have to clear your, I know a lot of them allow you to hold like 100 messages or something. And so for us, that was clearing like halfway through the day to keep it free. And it was one of the most insane, because your staff has to be responding, but it was amazing. I mean, we would get instant bookings, instant sales. I mean, for the holiday season, forget about it. It was like a fourth job, but I mean, the amount of gift cards that we were selling like instantaneously, it was crazy. Revenue went higher when we incorporated that Zendesk type of a feature. And then I think for back-to-back linking, but lead pages, I'm not sure. So I have my own website. I've worked with places that have their own websites, but to also have something like a lead page, even on top of your own website, I mean, it's built-in conversion tools, and it's the easiest way to, again, have another platform where you're just pointing everything at everything. And it's a really fantastic tool to convert and get leads. And then a third, and this is for people who have the money to spend, and it's a very specific person that we worked with. It's called Feed the Agency, and I know they worked with Emily, for your husband. They worked with dentists, doctors. That's like the main bread and butter. But they started expanding into the spa industry, and they have this amazing, and I'm going to totally just guess here, I think it was about $500 a month, but they did all of our marketing. They basically have this thing called Mia. It's I don't even know. It's something they created that's some kind of massive funnel. They did they integrated something with our spa software, our email system. And then basically based off of everything we were doing, they would know when clients would walk through our door. They'd instantly send them a survey as soon as they left our door. And they'd know this just by geocaching and, or geofencing, not geocaching, right? Totally different things. Geofencing our location and our clients and emails and software bookings. And then they would basically have them do a survey. If they gave us 4 or 5 stars, they'd instantly turn that into a ranking on Google. They'd have them go rank us, and it was insane. Our property would not spend money on anything social media or anything like this, and it was one of the owners, he said it was the biggest ROI they'd ever had for just a $500 a month investment. The amount of testimonials we had on Google, everything we got, the amount of client loyalty, because we were asking people for immediate feedback. I mean, it was insane. And they did so much more. I mean, they'd like target, they just did all of it, and it was easy. It was like they did it for you. So Feed the Agency, it was specific, but I'm sure there's other things like it. If you go to their website, you can kind of see how they're marketing themselves and then look for things like that.
Is it FEED?
FEED, the agency, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
How about one of the Jens? Any of your
So I can talk and first about things like that don't cost any money. One of our biggest tools is our poster in the back room, or actually our dry erase board. We put on there client questions, and then those client questions turn into sometimes an educational further explanation that I can provide for my employees, and then we'll take that and put that into social media, and then sometimes I write a blog post about that, and that's easy. And I find the more I can take one topic and spread it, either on a blog post or on social media, the more activity we get. So that's one thing that doesn't cost any money, is pretty simple, and you can use it in a lot of different channels.
So your team will just jot down questions that came up from their guests?
Yeah, I mean, I could show you guys right now. Right now we have the life cycle of the melanocyte cell, and we have peptides. And one thing that we've been talking about is a lot about pigmentation, because right now is the time you want to address pigmentation. And then three people asked us last week, what are peptides? So we just went into a little further detail on our board, and then we go into, maybe we relate that back to a product or a service on Instagram, and then I'm working on a blog post about it right now.
That's awesome.
Just simple. And another thing for me is just writing in a calendar and talking to my employees about them. I try to get my employees to engage as much as possible, because it helps with their education. We're able to discuss issues that are constantly coming up with, concerns clients might have for their skin, or questions they have about ingredients.
Emily, do you have anything to throw in there?
Yeah, so I'll do the easy one. One of my favorite tools, and I know Julie absolutely loves this as well, is Canva. Yeah, I'm a Canva junkie. I've been using it for probably about 6 years. And for those who don't know, Canva is a website, and they also have mobile and tablet apps. But basically, it helps you be your own graphic designer. For people who need one, it definitely does not replace the graphic designer, because you still have to have a little bit of a sense of design. But Canva pretty much takes away all of the guesswork in terms of that, by providing templates that you can use for nearly everything. You can use it for Instagram stories, you can use it for posters, you can use it for flyers, you can use it for social media ads, and everything is appropriately sized, or you can add custom dimensions if needed. And Canva is great for both digital as well as print materials. And it's absolutely incredible. And another thing, because I'm an Instagram junkie, I would recommend is, if you're using Instagram, you should sign up for Linktree, Linkree. And what Linktree does is, in your Instagram bio, you get the opportunity to have one link. And most people have it be just their regular website. But if you use Linktree, you have the Linktree link, and then it gives you a list of links that you assign to your Linktree. So for example, you can, rather than just have one link to your website, you can have a link to your current month specials, a link to book an appointment, a link to a services page, a link to your blog, and if you have an event coming up, maybe a link to a sign-up page. And all of those, or if you offer retail or even e-commerce, you can have a link to that. And so all of those links can be reached from your Instagram page. So you can really direct traffic almost anywhere you want. I know, like, my own personal one has my old blog, like a side hustle that I do, as well as my Amazon Associates account. And it's great, and Linktree is free. I don't know if anyone uses that.
Oh, I don't think we've used it.
I've never even heard of it. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Check it out. I mean, if you want to have more than one link, which I would definitely say you should at least have your homepage and then like a booking page.
Right. Jen, did you have anything to add? Jen on the phone?
I think, you know, we are, at my location, we are kind of stuck in using Facebook more so than any of the other options. And we've seen the most interaction when we do like a employee spotlight, or when we highlight, if we're doing, you know, training. We went away and we did, you know, we took all the girls to do a circadian training, and we had so much interaction. I think, again, bringing that, you know, the human connection and not having it just so ad-based, which is, you know, what we're trying to pull away from. We see a lot more interaction and interest in what we're actually putting out there.
That's awesome too.
Yeah.
Cool.
We can't use any of these fun things, but it's great, you know, definitely great information to have.
But I think what Jen's saying, like the benefit of highlighting your employees and things that you're doing behind the scenes, is that those employees, people who are in those photos, are going to share them on their own pages. And by doing that, you can expand even further, because otherwise, like, the average employee isn't just going to share a random post that you have about, you know, a monthly
Right,
special.
if they're not in it.
Exactly. Especially if they look fabulous.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think, Emily, do you ever use Mojo?
No, what's that?
So Mojo is a tool that we use on our Instagram for Instagram stories, and it adds like animation, you know, flying text like in and out, to create some kind of fun like Instagram stories, and it's free, of course, because, you know, all of the tools that we use on social media are free. So that's
Love it. I'm gonna have to check.
something worth checking out, guys, to add some like fun Instagram story animations, which keeps things just interesting and fun for your audience. So any questions from, I think, well, is there anything else anybody wants to add? I think, you know, we're at our hour mark, which totally flew by. I was like, oh, it's just going to be like a half hour, super quick. And again, as usual, we could keep going on and on and on. But let's see if we have any questions from any of the people that are in attendance tonight. You can just click at the bottom of your screen, the chat. Let me know if you have any questions at all. I know one that came up. Let me just see. Is okay, how about this? So how much contact is too much contact? So I don't know if Emily can answer this. Who can answer this?
On what platform? Email? Email's the only one where it's too much, right?
So that's the question here is, so I'm a spa, I send out a confirmation email, a reminder email, a text to remind them of their appointments, and then do a confirmation call. You know, how much is overkill?
We did all that too. We had to prevent, you know, people are looking at one of those four things. So
right.
We did every one of those too. As soon as you booked the appointment, you got the confirmation. The night before, you got the email, you got a phone call, and we did text. So
awesome. So we
were 4-star. So I don't know. It's
right.
That's okay.
Well, so I can give an affirmation to the spa that what they're doing is not overkill.
Well, Jen, maybe a difference.
We do a lot. We call, our software sends out a text. I think they even get an email too. I should know that, but there's not a confirmation email. They get a text and an email when they book the appointment, and then we call and do a confirmation call. I have to say though, getting a credit card to hold the appointment, that helps us a lot. So people know we're serious, and we tell people on the phone, we have a 24-hour cancellation policy. They know we have their credit card, and they show up. Yeah, we get very few no-shows.
Forbes, you have to have a cancellation policy too, people. Like, it's required by Forbes standards, which is all about customer service. You have to have.
And it has to be, printed at your front desk and clear, all your policies need to be at the front desk and then on the website.
Awesome. Anybody else have anything to add?
As someone who's always who's more of the consumer than the actual management of the spa, I would love that many reminders. I would absolutely love it. And my favorite thing is when I get an email where I can directly add something to my Google calendar.
Oh, yes. I love that. When you can't do it, I'm like, oh, why can't I add this to my Google Calendar? It's such a drag when I can't do it. I don't know. What
then you have to take all of 15 seconds and manually add it in.
I know, right?
And you forget halfway through.
Because then you get a text message.
Use that again, right? Yeah.
Sounds like we need spa services.
Yes.
Here's another question is, okay, so do I have to be on every platform? Do I have to have a voice on every platform? What's kind of the rule of thumb, or, maybe Emily can maybe give us a rule of thumb and everyone else can give us an idea of, do you have a voice on every platform? LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, I don't know, what else is out there, Google, whatever.
Yeah, I think the general idea is, one, you want to have yourself on directories. So you want to be on Yelp, because if you're not on it, someone's going to put you on it. Because it's possible to create listings if you're not the owner. So get yourself on Yelp, get yourself on Google My Business, because that's going to help your SEO infinitely. And Google My Business listing is linked to Google Maps. So anyone who has any type of Google phone or who uses Google Maps, if you don't have a listing on there, you're kind of SOL there. You should be on Facebook because it's 2019. and Facebook, I think you should also be on Instagram, because there is an aesthetic element to everything, but it also depends on who your consumers are. But I know before I go anywhere, because I'm also Instagram obsessed, I always check a place out on Instagram, whether it's a restaurant, a spa, a vacation, whatever it is. I think that LinkedIn and Twitter are a huge waste of time.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's just, no one's going to be linking you in for a massage. If they are, that's really
from your experience, where have you, seen success? Jen and Jen.
I actually just had a quick question for Emily. If you do not have an Instagram for your spa, but you could piggyback off, the corporation, do you think that you still get any type of an impact, or is it too diluted?
I think you can still get an impact, and I think you can get an impact mostly through location tags. And
okay.
Because when if they're going to be using Instagram for the corporation, they can feature your spa and add it as a location tag, because you said that you're on Facebook. So if you have a location on Facebook, you'll have a location on Instagram. And
okay.
it's important to have that location on Instagram because people are going to be visiting and they can tag your location. So it's so important.
And to make sure you're linking the link tree. I don't know if you have any contact with whoever manages the Instagram, but I mean, your spa should be like on the link tree. It almost should have like high rollers, spa, you know.
Right.
It should have, that should be your links within your Instagram account.
Okay, perfect.
Any other additional questions or comments, ladies? Any last minute tidbits?
I think Genesee's lighting is a testament to why everyone needs a spa with great lighting in their spa. Look how glowing she is.
I know. I've got 6 lights, people. Get the Instagram wall with your lightake
Yep, there you go.
Do you seriously have 6?
Yeah, I do tons of videos and stuff, so I have to. I should take a picture of the back end of this.
Videos too, and I always look like
Put your loop on.
Julie, it's so cheap on Amazon. My goodness. I know, yeah, right? I'm like, where's mine?
So invest in good lighting. Are we going to see a picture of Genesee's? Let's see Genesee.
Well, you only got these 2. I've got 2 more on the floor, and then I've got Edison bulbs ahead of me.
So yes. Oh, right. My last bit of information, or my last tidbit, which people get sick of hearing, and this was a tip that Emily gave me 3 years ago, which is have an Instagrammable space. No one's going to Instagram and share if there's nothing exciting to share about. It doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be a whole wall, but it can be just something really cute and beautiful that draws people, right, Emily? And have this great lighting. So Genesee is, I mean, you know, we all look great because we're fabulous ladies, but Genesee looks super great. I mean,
It does.
7 lights on her.
You should take a picture of me out of these lights. And be like Michael Jackson.
And has her loop lamp. So it's super important to have Instagrammable space and good lighting. Emily, anything to add about that? Because you're not the only one that checks places out based on their online presence.
Yeah, I mean, I think it, like, you know, like it goes back to who your audience is, but, you know, at this day and age, like your audience is going to keep getting younger because, you know, kids these days, they're getting like lip injections when they're like 12, which is absurd. But you know, like keeping up with the times, and like Julie said, like that Instagrammable space, whether you're going and you're spending, you know, $50 at Michael's for like some fake greenery, some fake succulents or something like that, or, you know, whatever it is, you know, even just, you know, just having something that's Instagrammable, even if it says like "you're gorgeous, darling" on your mirror in your bathroom, people are gonna take.
Yeah, right. Something super cute like that. How easy is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's a great idea. So I think this was an amazing call. I was looking quickly to see if I could find the Beauty Mark pictures from when I was there, because you know, her space, you just want to take a picture of.
Cute.
Right? I don't know. Can anybody see it? Here we are. I don't know how good you could see it. No, can't see it so good.
I can show
yeah, up a little. Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
So, you know, a beautiful space, a beautiful logo. Like yesterday I was in a spa and someone got their hair done, a beautiful, you know, I was doing some consulting and I was observing, and this young girl got a beautiful, there's
Woo, look at that. Oh, I thought the picture was like a rooftop deck or something.
No,
well, we have a skylight.
Oh, look at you. Oh, look at the ceiling. Go all the way up. What's your ceiling?
It's a skylight.
Gorgeous.
The old, brick building in Portland, so it's pretty cool.
Gorgeous.
And so yesterday, this girl got a, $250 hairstyle with, Kira Stoss and a master stylist. And I saw her out in the retail area, touching her hair and trying to take a selfie. And I thought, my God, this is going to go on this girl's Instagram. And the background is horrendous. I sort of wanted to take this young girl and move her to a space that I thought would look more beautiful, because if she tagged that spot and it was dark and it was retail shelves and it wasn't beautiful, and her hair looked so amazing, I was like, oh, we need a space for people because people are taking selfies. Jen, you're back. Before we hang up, any last things?
I don't know what is going on. I apologize with this on and off, the volume. I don't know what's going on tonight.
Do you have any last bits to add as we say goodbye?
I think that you're so right with the Instagrammable wall. We actually just got a logoed step and repeat and some fun props, which everybody loves that. You have a basket of props there and everybody wants to take their picture and tag you. So I think that's ideal. Everybody, like you said, everybody's on Instagram now. So even if you don't have the, sorry, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes. Are you still there? Okay, well, I just want to thank Emily, Genesee, Jen, and Jen for joining us again after our SpaHive Norwich talk. I think this is a really important conversation, and I'm so grateful for everyone jumping on a call this evening. We have recorded it. We will share it in the SpaHive community. I just got a text from Jen apologizing. She lost us again. But thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you in the SpaHive.